cast and the crew, they go, Tia, you look so young and good looking. I'm just joking. All right, I'm joking.
Loki, I want to introduce you to Ouroboros.
Oh, hey guys. For me to get to be part of this amazing series is really something. He calls me OB.
I call him OB. That's like a nickname I have. Yeah.
Wow. OB works at the very bottom, at the basement of the T.V.A. He's smart, he's funny, and he knows his way around the T.V.A.
OB, could I get you to take a look at this temp pad?
Do you think this is a higher priority than preventing a temporal meltdown?
Oh, no. I stay focused on the temporal meltdown.
I agree.
The cast and the crew, they have welcomed me with wide open arms.
He is easy to be on set with. He keeps happy, chirpy.
Oh, this is so sweet.
He's a character the audience will be inspired by.
It's time to do the victory dance. It's been such a joy to make this. I just can't wait for the audience to know more about him.
OB! Is this cracked?
You're good.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day we earn that subscription. If so, you hit that subscribe bar down below. You smash that like button and you let us know what you think about today's topic. Because only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. We're going to go over Loki Season 2, Episode 2, a lot of twos. You and me are two. And then, never mind, running over. It's called Breaking Brad. Of course, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Owen Wilson as Mobius, Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie, Wunmi Mosaku as B-15, Eugene Cordero as Casey, Ki-Hugh Kwan as Obi or Ouroboros, Raphael Castle as Brad Wolf, X5 from the first episode, and Kate Dickey as General Dox. Now, we pick up in the beginning of the episode with Mobius and Loki in 1977 London, and their goal is to recover X5, who's going by Brad Wolf at this moment, and he's a movie star at a premiere for his movie called Zanaic. Now, Zanaic is a comic book character who, in the comic books, was an actor playing a possessed demon, but then really was possessed by the demon of Zanaic and became, a villain. And if you remember, General Dox from last episode wanted to prune the timelines even after finding out the whole thing about the T.V.A., but the judge had altered that, stopped that, but General Dox is going, she's in the business for herself now, so to speak. So we'll deal with her later on in the episode. But initially Loki and through extension Mobius is looking for Sylvie to help them figure out why he had seen her in the future when he was doing the time slipping and letting her know that, things are about to go down even though they thought they solved everything. At the end of last season, which apparently they didn't. We also have OB trying to figure out how to stop the temporal meltdown that's happening because of the oversaturation of these broken timelines, right? Their systems aren't equipped to deal with this much overload of power. But anyway, Loki and Mobius come across Brad, right? And they're trying to get him to come back with him to figure out, where Sylvie might be, and any luck with that. And he's like, yeah, just give me a minute at this movie premiere, and he takes off. Okay. Now we get a little foot chase, and Mobius is trying to get him. He almost caught up with him. We see Hunter B-15 outside trying to get him. But finally, when they just about had him cornered, Loki comes. And I have to really say, these first 2 episodes have really been giving me hope again. Especially with this character of Loki. I love Loki. I always, just enjoyed the character. And they really show how powerful he is, how confident he can finally be in his own skin. And we have to remember that at this point of this Loki's timeline, he had just failed at trying to take over New York through an alien invasion, which they touch upon in this episode. And for him, it's only been like a week, you know what I mean? So all of last year's episodes and the 2 episodes this year have only been like a week of his own time. So there has been some good character development for him right out of the gate, really coming to terms with who he is as a person or as a god, and that plays into his how people perceive him and how he perceives himself in this episode. Because when they do finally bring Brad in, there's this really cool scene when they cornered Brad, or what Loki cornered Brad, and Loki was casting an illusion of showing that there's 3 of them. The shadows against the wall of these 3 Lokis, 2 of them are holding Brad as their shadow form against the wall. And I thought that was a pretty cool visual because it's really showing how deceptively powerful Loki is. To sometimes play with the mind can be a worse thing, because cuts and bruises can heal, right? Mental scars take so much longer. These mental things that you can see last so much longer in your mind's eye than of bruise that you may experience on the outside of your body. And that's where Loki really hits his sweet spot as someone who can take advantage of you through those type of powers. And the goal is now, when they have Brad back in the TVA, is to Breaking Bad. Well, that's the play on it from the show Breaking Bad. But it's Breaking Bad. Brad. I know how to talk. Do you know how to talk? And they're trying to get the information out of him. And it's Morbin time. Mobius is making B-15 and Loki aware he's going to know all our tricks, and we have to switch it around. And during this interview, Brad is a real son of a bee, man. He does not want to do this. He wants to go back to the sacred timeline where he created the life for himself as his movie star. Because they did make it known that the life he started was in the sacred timeline. Whereas last week it showed that Sylvie was in a branched timeline. So there's a reason why they're making the differences there in the show for us to see. Finally, Mobius gets aggravated and goes after Brad, and they leave to get some air. and Mobius deals with or is confronted with whether he wants to know where the type of life he had before he was abducted by the TVA and is living this life as Mobius. Because Mobius is not even his real name. That was the whole thing that Brad was saying, that none of this is real. We're not living our real lives. This is all fake, an illusion that we've been forced to play out, and I don't want to do it anymore. I want to be Brad. I don't want to be X5, right? And we can all relate to that. If given the choice on the life that we're being forced to live or a life that we could have been living, do you want to know that information or not? And that's where Mobius is confronted with. Does he want to know that information? And he doesn't, because he likes, even though he doesn't remember his previous life, except the yearning for a jet ski ride, right? That might have been something that was in his previous life that was his peace, right? His heaven. That nowhere else would Mobius rather be than on the open water riding his jet ski, right? For me, it's, different things, and for you, it's different things. There's people who just can sit there near a fireplace and read a book, and that's their heaven, For me, nothing like a nice whiskey on my porch looking out, into the grandeur of nature, so to speak. That would be my peace, Everyone has their own thing. And Mobius is explaining, what if the life that I was taken from is better? And then I need that rattling around in my brain, and then I'm starting to question who I am. And when I feel like I know who I am and I like what I do, so why go tempting fate that way? And Loki understands, because he's trying to run away from the life he had as well, to a degree, as Mobius is running away from the life he could have had. But Loki, to himself, understands trying to be the best version of yourself, because he realizes that through his anger and rage, he's made decisions that hurt a lot of people, and he's trying to remember that he can do better, even though Brad, during that initial interview, reminded him that he's a loser and he'll always be a villain, and that he was the reason why his mother died in the main MCU universe. Because remember, that's a different Loki than this Loki. And Loki, seeing all that stuff that happened and knowing he's the cause of it, the guilt is weighing on this Loki's conscience the way it did with the initial Loki. And that's why that initial Loki gave himself up to Thanos so Thor can escape, or the Hulk can escape, and try to save the universe from Thanos. So Loki's seeing the potential of that inside of himself, through seeing that through one of his versions, his variants. He wants to be like that. He wants to, he understands he can be petty, and he understands he can be dangerous, but he wants to do it for the right reasons now. And they both have a coming to God moment, so to speak, in their own right, over some key lime pie. And that key lime pie looked pretty damn good, I tell you that. So in the meantime, they decide to go back and take another stab at Brad, so to speak. And B-15 and Casey are trying to find Ravonna Renslayer's signature of her time pad, so they can figure out where she went to. And because Brad's temporal device had some stuff on it that they're trying to get OB to figure out what that technology is. and Casey and Obi meeting together was fate, because Obi is like a hero to Casey. Casey's memorized the handbook and all this other stuff, and he even had Obi sign it. And so basically B-15, Casey, and Obi are working on the technical side of things, so then it can give Loki and Mobius a chance to interrogate Brad again. But they come up with a plan where Loki uses Brad's his own words against him about, "Oh, I'm a villain, don't you remember? I'll do anything within my power to get what I want, remember?" And there's this device that they were able to pretend that Mobius was locked out and Loki and Brad were in the room together, and he this device he was using put Brad in a box, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and now he's all like, ah! Until finally he blurts out where Sylvie is, which is Broxton, Indiana, and they go and see her at the McDonald's. They explain to her what's going on. She has no interest in going back or dealing with this whole nonsense. And while Mobius is inside eating a Big Mac meal with an apple pie, that should be the Mobius meal, right? And Brad is so desperate to get out of there until finally Mobius realizes that there's got to be something more to this. And it comes to find out that General Dox is still trying to prune these timelines, and there's a plan in action for her to do that. So Mobius comes out with Brad, tells Sylvie and Loki this. They go to where General Dox is and basically stop her, but not quite. She pruned so many timelines, and to see all that death and destruction that was happening, so to speak, up on the screen where you see all the timelines getting pruned, it really hit B-15 a lot, because she's like, there's all those people that are gone because of this. It's not right and everything, and it's a really somber moment. And Sylvie's there, after they won the battle against General Dox, and she's like, "See, this is why I can't do this, man. The T.V.A. is rotten to the core. There'll never be anything that I want to do with this organization." And she takes off, and basically, with the pruning of everything, it may have calmed down the meltdown for right now, but eventually they're still going to have to figure out something, because there's a place they need to access down in the basement area, and the only person able to get in there is He Who Remains, because it's an optical lock. So he has to use his eyeball to open it. And I think that's where Victor Timely comes in, probably in the next episode, because he is himself a variant of He Who Remains. And we'll see what happens from there. And then the last scene, basically, Sylvie contemplating whether she's going to help Loki or not. He lets her know that he had seen her in the future. She doesn't believe it. But the words that he had said to her earlier in the episode are probably ringing in her head. He's like, "Yeah, forget about me. Forget about the T.V.A. if that's what you want. But don't you like where you're at? You seem to like this, right? Working at this McDonald's and, just doing that, right? Like, don't you want to keep doing this? And, well, in order for you to keep doing this, you got to help us. However whether you like helping us or not, you're going to have to help us, because it's the only way to stop what's coming. Okay? And then you can come back here and serve up all the Big Macs you want, all the chicken nuggets you want with the chocolate milk to the kids, all right? So that's where we end. I am liking this season a whole lot more than the initial couple episodes of last season, so I'm hoping that the trend continues with this. And yeah, that's my views of the episode. You let me know down below if you're liking Loki season 2 better or if you're liking season 1 better. It's all subjective, but let's talk about it. But until next time, peace, Snookums.